Hey, welcome back YouTube. I wanted to do a quick tutorial video on how to mine Monero or Monero forked coins with an Nvidia GPU. Okay, so let's look at the machine that we're going to be using today. This machine is actually the same machine that I record the videos on for YouTube. It's pretty simple. I only have 8 gigs of memory in it right now. The processor is 8th gen i3 8100. That's a non-overclocked processor. It's 4 cores. So the GPU that we're going to be using is a Nvidia GeForce GTX 1070. This is a Strix, Asus Strix 1070 overclocked edition. Alright, so in the video, I'm gonna show you the setup, how to download the programs, the miner that we're going to be using, the pool that we're going to be using. You can insert your own wallet address, obviously, your own coin that you want, as long as the program that I'm going to be showing you supports that coin. This is just a general overview on how to mine or how to set up this Nvidia GPU and what to look for, what to do. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to be doing some overclocks with MSI Afterburner and a little bit of undervolting so we can get the best performance from the machine. Alright, so let's close this out. Windows 10, obviously. This is just going to be, let's say you have a computer that sits there for 16 to 18 hours a day. You don't use it, and you just want to mine some coins. Let's say you're a gamer and you play it 4 to 5 hours a day, couple hours a day, and the rest of the time the computer's just sitting there doing nothing. This would be a great example of how to make some extra money while your machine is, would normally be in its downtime. Or you can actually use this same example for setting up a full-fledged miner with multiple cards. You just have to obviously change the settings for the amount of cards that you have on board. In this example, we only have one card that I use for rendering, which is the 1070. So perfect, easy example that you can expand upon for your particular instance. Alright, so all of the links are going to be in the description below, so don't worry about having to write these down or anything. They'll be in the description below, so all you have to do is click on them. Alright, so the pool that we're going to be using today is Hashvault. Hashvault Pro. Excuse me. So as you can see, there's a lot of different coins here. Aeon, Monero, Electroneum, Sumokoin, KuCoin, I believe. Lots of different coins. Graft. So we're going, in this example, we're going to be setting up the miner for Electroneum because I already have a spare address that I used to make one of my other videos that I don't mind putting that address online. I'll never actually mine to it other than in the example for these videos. So it doesn't bother me to put this online. Obviously, if you have a wallet, you don't want to give that information to anybody else, especially your private spend or any of your private keys. So we're going to be using the XMR Stack latest version right here on the GitHub page from Fierce UK or Fire Ice, sorry, UK. MSI Afterburner, and then our pool. So this is going to be real quick, not much to it. Alright, here we go. So we need to download a couple programs. One is MSI Afterburner if you have not already used it. Now, there's several other programs out there. Just about every aftermarket GPU manufacturer, they all have their own program. Lots of folks use MSI Afterburner just because of its ease of use, and honestly that's why I'm showing you how to use Afterburner if you have not already used it. So again, the link is msi.com page Afterburner, and then you download the Afterburner. I've already done this, so I don't need to do it again. I've already got it set up, but we will start from the beginning, okay? So download this, click on this, run the installer. You're going to have to install both programs. You can allow it to put links on your desktop if that's where you want it, or you can tell it you don't want links and you just might have to type it in. But all right, so the next thing that we're going to download is the XMR Stack. Let's go ahead and click on it. And it's not a big file. It is zipped. So Chrome is blocking it. So I haven't made any changes to the Chrome settings. So let's go ahead and fix that. Alright, so in order to fix this, if you get a message from your downloads that states that this is an unsafe file, Windows views this as a unsafe program. Nothing wrong with this program. I've been running it for months and months and months and haven't infected anything. So basically what we need to do is turn off its so-called protection, at least temporarily, so that we can download the program. So go up here. If you're in Chrome, each browser is going to be different, but if you are using Chrome, I'm going to go down here to Settings. Then we're going to click on Settings, the Settings tab, and then click on Advanced, and then Privacy and Security. Alright, so, excuse me, if you see, protect you and your device from dangerous sites, that's what we need to turn off, temporarily at least. I'm going to go ahead and leave it off for the video. You can probably turn this back on if you'd like. For what we're doing at the moment, I'm just going to leave it off. But we're going to go ahead and go back to, after we've turned it off, go back to XMR Stack. I'm going to try to download it again. You can see here. All right, and as you can see, this time, no flags. So we're going to right-click, and we're going to show it in the folder. And it's going to be in the download. So as you can see, it tried to download this. Wasn't successful because it blocked it. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Now we've got our XMR Stack. So we've already downloaded MSI Afterburner. We've already installed it, if you haven't already done so. Now we're going to extract the XMR files. We're going to extract all. And let's go ahead and put this on our desktop. Select folder, extract, and then it's going to show me the files once it's done. We can go ahead and do this, close this out, and for right now, I'm going to close down the settings tab. I'm going to close down this, MSI Afterburner, and I'm just going to leave our pool open so we can get to the information that we need. Alright, so you can see the XMR Stack folder here. We're going to double left click, and we're going to run the program for the first time. Okay, so we're going to double left click on the program, and you're going to see Windows again is trying to block us. Click more info, and I can click run anyway. There's also something else I can do. I can go down here just out of your field of view where the Windows search bar is and type in Windows Defender and Windows Defender settings. So I'm going to click on it. Let me go ahead and close this out. So Windows Defender, open Windows Defender Security Center. Yours may look a little different. Windows has recently put out a version update. So let me show you. I'm going to go down to the bottom and type WinVer. WinVer. Run command. And as you can see, if you have not updated your computer in the last little bit, maybe the last week or so, you're probably going to still be on version 1709. Version 1803, which is the latest and greatest from Windows. The menus look a little different. The features are different. One of those things where they never leave well enough alone. So this may look a little different, but getting to these screens is pretty much the same process. So we're going to go to Virus and Threat Protection. All right, and you see Real-Time Protection. You scroll down. This is the top, Virus and Threat Protection Settings. Scroll down, and you see Exclusions. Add or remove exclusions. You can see that I already have some exclusions in. If you want to, you can add that whole folder, desktop, XMR Stack, and select the folder. And it's going to make me verify yet again. This is what I want to do. I'm going to tell it yes. And then it is now in the exclusions folder, excuse me. So I can close this out. All right, let's try to run it one more time. If it does open up again like this, you may have to actually go back to the exclusions and add the file itself. In other words, I added this folder. You may actually have to add the file itself or the executable itself. All right, so we're going to go ahead and circumnavigate this for the first time just by clicking here and then clicking Run Anyway. All right, so when you open up XMR Stack for the first time, this is what it's going to look like. So it's asking me if I want to use the HTTP interface. For this example, I do not. Okay, so if you want to, it is just a local loopback with a port number that it uses on this machine, so you can see a GUI type setup. That's not something that I'm interested in at this point, but if you are, you can simply enter a port number and access through a web browser the statistics of the miner. All right, for now, I'm going to press 0 and enter. And now it's asking me all the different coins or what I want to mine. I can actually go by the algorithm, or I can tell it the individual coin that I want to mine. As you can see, there's quite a few different coins here, and that is one of the reasons why I chose to use Hashvault, because most of those coins on this miner coincide with the stuff that you can mine on Hashvault. All right, so again, this tutorial can be used for a multitude of coins. This is just the setup. So don't think if you're mining Karbo or any other coin that is on this list, Haven, Graft, that this tutorial won't work. This tutorial will work. You're just going to have to submit your particular information in the spots that I do for Electroneum. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in Electroneum, press enter. Now, pool address. I have already created a wallet that we're going to use on the next step. So that wallet was used in one of my last videos. Go ahead and get that handy. But for the pool address, let's go back to the web browser, and we're going to be mining Electroneum in this example. So click on Electroneum, and now you can see on the left side of your screen, ports. Click on ports, and this is going to be what you copy and paste into that window. Okay, so before you click enter, we need to put a port number in. So colon, and then we're going to put a port number in. And I've explained this in my other videos. If you need a deeper explanation, you can look at the other videos where I set this up, the port numbers up. But for this example, because I'm only using a single 1070, I'm going to start with port 3333. All right, so go back here, port 3333, pool.electroneum.hashvault.pro 33333. That may have been one too many threes, but you get the point. All right, so press enter. Now it's asking for my user or wallet address. That is going to be, for this example, that is going to be my wallet address that I'm going to use. Here is my public wallet address. Always insert the public address, not private or anything else, okay? So copy, and I'm going to paste that right there. Go ahead and close that out. Close this out, and I'm going to press enter. Password. If I wanted to press put a password in, or the worker name, you can do so here. I'm not going to do so for this example, so press X, or just press enter. Rig identifier. I'm not going to put a rig identifier in. That's in some pools you are allowed, like in Hashvault, you are allowed to have a rig identifier. You can put a name in there that you remember. That way, when you look at the statistics page, you can see that that rig is up and running and submitting hashes. For now, I'm just gonna skip it. So enter. Does this support? This pool support TLS SSL? Yes, it does, but I'm going to say no for now. And the reason being is because I'm not going to use that. Do you want to use NiceHash on this pool? I am not going to use NiceHash. Do you want to use multiple pools for this example? No. And now another Windows warning. Windows is pretty good at blocking just about everything you try to do. So we're going to tell it yes. And as you can see, it just populated. It just populated some more windows, or some more programs, and it has started to mine. You can see memory allocation failed. We're going to go through that. You might see that if you have not set this up on your miner yet. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close this out and get our issues fixed. All right. As you can see, it got a little choppy because I am trying to mine on the same computer that I'm recording the video on. So I apologize for any choppiness. But so we are left with a config file that it just populated, a CPU file, Nvidia, pools, and then the DLL programs and the XMR Stack that it originally came with. To fix the issue that I saw, we're going to double click config, and we're going to scroll down to large page file support. All right. So there is a step-by-step process how to do this. Let's go through it so I can walk you through it once. So down here in the search bar, just out of your field of view, we're going to type in gpedit.msc. Press enter. All right, so now it tells you exactly where to look. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for the example. All right, so on the local group policy editor console, expand computer configuration and expand Windows settings. All right, local group policy, so configure computer configuration. All right, expand security settings. Security settings. All right. So after that, we're going to go down to user rights assignment folder. Make this a little bit bigger for everybody. All right. Local policies. Local policies and user rights. All right. So in the pane, double click lock pages in memory. So we're going to go down and look for lock pages in memory. There we go. All right. So what we want to do is add a user, and this is where you insert the username for your individual device or your individual user. Yep, there we go. So this is the place, this is the place where you insert the individual user, your username for the login information that you use to sign in. If you don't have login information, you just simply put in the user profile that you are using at the current time, and where you're going to be using the miner at. In other words, this is specific to each user. So I'm going to put that in. I put in the name, my name, and then hit check names and then press OK. All right. And then I can press apply. All right, and that's it. So after you've added it to the lock pages in memory section, you press OK, press apply first, then OK. And now I'm going to need to reboot my machine for the changes to make effect. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, reboot my machine, you reboot yours, and then we'll come back and get started again. All right, so I've rebooted, I've come back. I actually started the miner and started to record another segment, and the computer locked up. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to CPU mine at all, even with one thread, while the miner's running and I'm trying to record at the same time. I don't have enough memory in this box, and it overloads the processor and lags and slows everything down. You're not going to have that issue because you're not going to more than likely be recording while you're trying to mine for the first time. So let's go ahead and open up the CPU file, and this will populate the first time based upon the amount of threads that you have available to mine. If you do not want to mine with your CPU, then you can delete all of the information that's in here, which is going to look like this. Okay, this will be in between these two brackets and the comma. You can delete that, or you can change the number of threads you want for it to use for mining to, I would say, if you have a 4-core processor, maximum of 3 threads, because if all 4 threads are at 100%, then the computer is going to have issues doing other stuff in the background. So it's always logical, it's always better to just use 3 of the threads. If you have a 6-core processor, 5 of the threads. If you have a 12-core processor, 11 of the threads. Always leave 1 thread in reserve. And that would simply look like 0, 1, and then a third line would be 3 if you wanted to use 3 threads. So there would be 3 lines, and it would be in between these brackets. Since I'm unable to do that in this example, just wanted to go ahead and run through that and show you what it looks like. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up our miner and see if we fix the issue that we had previously with the large page file lock. Alright, so double left click XMR Stack, and as you can see, starting the Nvidia, there is no AMD card present, and fast connecting to the pool, and I do not see an error message. Sometimes it will say HW lock pinned, and that's okay as well. I'm having quite a few issues with recording the video and showing the miner running at the same time because they're both using the GPU. And so what I've had to do is slow down the GPU in the configuration file for Nvidia, which I really don't want to go through in this video because I don't want you to think that you need to do it for your situation. I only had to do it for my particular situation because I'm trying to record the miner as it's running with the recording program and the mining program both hammering the GPU. So I've slowed the GPU down a little bit. As you can see, I press H and see a hash rate of 544. Before, we were getting 610, so I have slowed the GPU down just a bit so that I can continue to record. Alright, so our configuration file, that is what we went through earlier. Our CPU mining, our CPU configuration file, we went through that as well. Nvidia. Now, I don't want to open this up and I don't want to show you. You can click on it and you can see that the default settings for the cards are generally sufficient to get the miner running. And in my case, it's pretty close to optimal. All right. So our pools configuration, that basically shows us what we entered to begin with. All right. Our address and our pool. All right. And it also shows the other algorithms. We're not worried about changing any of those settings. So we're going to close this down and we're going to open up MSI Afterburner. Alright, so in the bottom, just out of your field of view in the search bar, I'm going to type in MSI Afterburner. Pops up. Windows again. Are you sure you want to run this? Yes. Alright, so MSI Afterburner popped up. Now, as you can see, I'm currently running the latest drivers from Nvidia, which are the 397.31, and as you can see, the clock settings have not been adjusted at all. So this is set at 100% power limit, which is the factory setting, 83 degrees factory setting, no additional overclock at all to the core or the memory clock. So what I want to do is show you how to overclock, and this is going to be a real brief tutorial. If you want to do a deep dive on how to set this up, there's several different videos on YouTube that you can go to for a deeper reference. I already know what these clock settings need to be for this particular card, but with that said, what I want to tell you is that each card is completely different. Even the same brand, the same manufacturer, your settings could be vastly different. So for my particular card, I know through trial and error, and the way that I get to the numbers that I'm going to be using is by trial and error. I will adjust the clock rates up. I will adjust the core up until I start seeing errors on the program, or I start seeing artifacts on the screen, which is basically just splotches in the screen. You'll know it when you see it. If you've went too far, you'll need to reboot the rig and reinitialize the drivers. But I'm going to take this number up slowly. Let's just do 50. And I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to take the memory up 100 megahertz. Okay. And I'm going to press OK. Now, I want to go back over here, and if you remember earlier, we were hashing right around 544. So I just added some memory speed and some additional overclock to the memory clock, and I'm going to press H. So you can see I already see a little bit of a bump, and that's a very minimum overclock. What you want with your miner is to be stable. It's not worth the downtime and all the missed hashes for a couple extra hash power. It's not. Mathematically, if you're down for just 1 minute, the math does not add up and the math does not make sense to get 10 additional hashes per second if the miner is unstable. So you're only going to overclock this to a point where you are stable, you are not submitting bad shares, you're not crashing the system. Some people like to run factory. They do not like to overclock because they're afraid of that situation. But if you do this responsibly, it can be very effective. Alright, so because I know this card well, I know through trial and error, as I bump the clock settings up very slowly and then let it run for 5 or 10 minutes to see if it's stable, I know that a safe limit, and I can go higher, but a safe limit for me on my particular graphics card is 100 megahertz additional core clock. And on the memory, I can do 650. Oops. So 650. Always press enter. If you forget to press enter, it won't take it. Then press the check. As you can see, I went up quite a bit on my memory clock here. So now let's look at it. So 556 before. Let's hit H. And I've went up to 600. Now, before, when I was testing this, before I started to record the screen, before I quote-unquote slowed the card down so that I could record, I was getting 720 hash out of this card. If you were using the CPU to mine, if you had a 4-core CPU like this, you would be getting a higher hash. You might, out of this one card and using your CPU, you could potentially be getting 800 hash or better, 750 or better. So, depending upon the coin that you're mining, this may be profitable. You might be able to pick up a few coins, you know, every day if you let this miner run in the background when you're not using the computer. I think it could be beneficial and get more people into cryptocurrency if you're not using the equipment and you want to make some money or make your money back on the equipment that you purchased. This is a great thing to do for a single one-card rig or something like that. But again, this mining guide will work for if you have multiple cards. You can probably figure out that you're going to have multiple cards and they need to be set up individually. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and supply a screenshot at the end of this video to show you the 720 hashes, just for visual proof that it can be done. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any additional questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and share this video around and click the bell notification so you can see my videos as soon as they come up. Alright, thanks a lot, and have a good day, night, or wherever you're at in the world. Alright guys, so here's the quick screenshot. You can see the hash rate is 719 from the card, and with the CPU mining, I get 921. Sorry about the screen size. I had to shrink it down for this to work, but just wanted to show you the totals. Alright guys, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.